MMA news alert. That's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about some big stories, some big headlines right now. And so let's start it off with UFC 249. This is finally happening. It's finally going through. As I make this video, knock on wood, anything can happen. We were starting off with Ferguson versus Khabib. That was that fight everybody wanted, everybody still wants. Khabib went to Russia. He couldn't fight anymore. Justin Gaethje stepped up on a week notice, was going to go in there and fight Ferguson. The card was supposed to be in New York. It got transferred back over to Los Angeles area, California. And lo and behold, the uppers and ESPN told Dana White, we're shutting it down. We don't want this card going on. And here we are. Fast forward a couple of weeks now. It's scheduled for May 9th. And here we are. I would first like to say, since this fight with Khabib got canceled and Khabib's not fighting, I'm actually super excited that Justin Gaethje stepped up and this is the fight they're making. Although, I would really like to see Conor McGregor and Ferguson instead. That would be my number one pick if Khabib can't fight. But Gaethje is definitely a beautiful backup. It's going to be a great, entertaining fight. Stay tuned because we're going to do a predictions video as well on that one. Now let's talk about this article that was just put on MMA Junkie, where it's the UFC protocols for fight week. This is pretty crazy because this is totally different than what we're used to. Now, according to MMA Junkie, an email sent from the UFC to the fighters is stating first and foremost for fight week protocol, it's going to be UFC staff, fighters, and corners only. Which this is crazy because, I mean, anybody that has been to a UFC event, has been around fight week, I mean, there's a ton of media. When you first get there, you shake hands with everybody on the staff. You obviously when you go in the cage and you fight, there's a whole audience, thousands of people there. Throughout the week, UFC will put on open workouts where it'll be certain fighters will go in front of fans. The weigh-in, there'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of people at the weigh-ins. And now UFC's saying no more of that. We're basically only opening up to the fighters are going to be here, the cornermen, and the UFC staff. That's it. Even as far as I'm concerned, most of the media won't even be there. That's crazy. This has never happened before. Next up is the mandatory daily testing and medicals. Let's get into this a little bit. Upon arrival at the host hotel, the fighters and their cornermen must take part in mandatory medical screenings and a series of tests. This process will be repeated daily as long as the fighters and teams remain at the hotel. Further testing details will be provided in person upon arrival. I'm actually going to this event, UFC 249. I'm going to corner my brother, Jeremy Stevens. So not only am I going to actually drive to the airport with my mask and my gloves and get on an airplane, but now as soon as that airplane lands and we get picked up by the UFC, I'm going to get to a hotel and they're basically going to come and give me a test. Now I'd imagine it's a test for what's going around. And that to me is crazy because I personally have not been tested, and I'd imagine a lot of these cornermen and fighters haven't been tested. So what happens when we get there and I test positive for something? What does that mean? Does that mean I got to go home? What if a fighter tests positive for something? What does that mean? Does that mean he can't fight, he's got to go home? Or is he on quarantine? So this is kind of crazy. This is like something out of a movie, honestly. I can picture it now. I show up. They got masks on, they got gloves on, and man, they asked me to put my hands on the wall. And testing, this is mandatory. If you want to fight, you got to do it. I love my homies, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do for them, but this is pretty crazy. Sounds like there's going to be daily tests going on. So not only when you show up and you get tested initially, they're actually going to be doing this daily. So that's going to be awkward. I mean, I got to check in and get swabbed up. I got to get a doctor to go over, check it out. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just kind of free flowing this off my mind, but it definitely sounds like something out of a outbreak movie or something crazy. Next up is the weigh-in procedure and credential distribution. Let's read what the UFC said. Teams will be informed of the weigh-in procedure and given credentials that are required to be worn at all times on the hotel premises. That's all they're saying right now. So we're going to be informed once we get there, as the weigh-in day comes close, we're going to be informed what exactly is going to take place. So to me, this kind of says that the UFC doesn't exactly know what's going to happen. They're kind of playing it as it goes. I'd imagine everybody's going to be on masks, everybody's keeping their social distance 6 feet away. But I'm interested to see what exactly weigh-in procedures they're talking about. Does this mean that one person's going to go to the scale every hour? Does this mean that one person steps on the scale, they come out, disinfect the scale, he walks off, then the next one comes in. Does this mean it's going to be closed door or an open door? I'd imagine there's going to be no audience here as well. This is another strange wording, in my opinion, how they made it seem. They made it seem like we got a protocol for the weigh-ins, but we're not going to explain it right now. We're just going to have you know that we have a protocol, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to figure that out and find it out once you get here. So that's another weird scenario going into this fight week. Next up on the email that UFC sent over is that there's going to be individual workout rooms for each fighter. Let's quote this. Each fighter will be provided with an individual workout room, mats, mat sanitizer, and a personal sauna will be provided. I actually love this. I think it's great that they're going to be disinfecting everything. They're going to give us some hand sanitizer. Each fighter gets his own workout room. You ain't got to worry about getting infected by some other dirty person. You can get your workouts in, peace of mind, and make sure everything's safe and sound. On top of that, UFC is going to be providing a personal sauna, which, in my opinion, I love the sauna for weight cutting. And man, that's one less thing we have to worry about. Good job, UFC. The last highlights from the email that UFC sent out to everybody, they're pretty standard, but we'll just go over it really quick. Hotel staff will be on the premises, which I was already expecting that. There's going to be some people helping out at the hotel for the fighters, whatever you need. You need some towels, you need some face masks, you need some hand sanitizer, whatever it is. We're going to have some backup with the hotel staff, which is awesome. The UFC Performance Institute will provide support as well, which again, this is something I would expect. They're going to be there to help with meals. They're going to be there to help with, I'd imagine, anything that the fighters or this cornerman need throughout this fight week. The UFC Performance Institute will be there as backup as well, which is awesome. Lastly, it says that a medical staff will be on the premises as well. Now let's quote this one. Performance-related matters defined as injury or illness can be treated by on-site medical staff, but massages and flushes will not be. That to me is horse crap, because if I'm going to be tested daily for everything, and I'm sure as heck that this medical person is going to be tested as well, if I'm negative and he's negative, you better bet your butt he better be giving me a massage. I'll tell you what, I don't care about illness, all this to the side, but he better flush his body out. He better hit these lats and give him that massage, because to me, that's what's really needed the most on fight week. There's also talks about having virtual media for this fight week. Usually what happens is on regular fight weeks, UFC will have a bunch of media people come in. It'll be a scrum, so it'll be different stations for fighters, and you'll go around and talk to hundreds of people. So this one though, they're talking about having a virtual one. So I believe what that means is you're on Skype, you're on Zoom, and you talk to different media outlets, different reporters. And I feel like this makes more sense, a lot less risk, no human contact. But to me, it's just kind of like, I'm just so used to being in person, talking to the people, that this is definitely a new one for me as well. There's going to be no open workouts, and the media day is going to be virtual. This is kind of crazy. This is like into the future stuff. Guys, make sure to drop a comment below as we're watching this video. Let me know if you think that UFC 249 should be going through. Like, do you think the safety and the health of the fighters is worth putting on the line just to see some fights? Or do you think these guys got to get paid, the show's got to go on, so we need to put these fights on? Drop a comment below. And also, too, let me know if you really think that this event's going to actually go through. I mean, it's been canceled so many times now. Do you really think it's going to go through? Let me know. Drop that comment. Next up is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3. I want to make sure I said that right. It's Deontay, not Deontay Wilder, because last time I messed up Adesanya's name, everybody left a comment so mad, so fired up, and I want to make sure I got this name right today, guys. Deontay Wilder. And while we're at it, smash that thumbs up button and smash that subscribe button. According to the promoter, Bob Arum, which is Tyson Fury's representative, it's looking like this fight would not happen until November or December at the earliest. So that means right there that, hey, this fight's looking like it might not happen, because obviously November, December is towards the end of the year, which kind of stinks, because that would be a great third match. Obviously the second match, you know, Fury just knocked out Wilder, had a great performance. And before that, in their first match, Deontay Wilder and Fury, man, they got it on. It went to a draw, but it was an epic match where Fury was showcasing his boxing skills, moving his footwork, and Deontay Wilder caught him with that big punch, basically the Undertaker punch, where Fury fell backwards. Everybody thought he was out. Everybody counted him out, and boom, he sits back up, freaks everybody out, And man, he comes back and continues fighting, did not get stopped. So this third match, man, fans want to see it. So I'm really hoping that this happens the end of this year, if not early next year. Let's not cancel this fight. Now lastly, we got to talk about Bellator. That's my home right now. That's where I'm fighting at, so we're going to touch on it. Right now, Bellator is shut down just like every other professional sport. They're worried about the safety of their fighters as well as their staff, and everything right now is shut down. According to an interview with Scott Coker, he does have a plan, and let's get into that plan. According to Bellator's president, Scott Coker, he says, and I quote, "We do have a plan, and the plan is really to come back sometime in July on a sound stage, either in the Paramount lot or the CBS lot, and start doing fights in a closed environment with no audience, at least for the first 3-4 months," Coker said, because even if they say audiences can come back, I think it's going to take some time. So that right there is telling you Scott Coker has a plan in place, which I love. He's figuring out possibly July, everybody coming back, and we're going to fight either in the Paramount lot or the CBS lot. I myself have a fight planned July 17th, and I'm supposed to be fighting. I was going to fight in Thackerville, but it looks like we're going to go up to Paramount or the CBS lot. I don't know if he's talking about the parking lot or if he's talking about us scrapping in the facility of the CBS studios. I don't know, but I love that Scott's got a plan. I love that he's trying to get these fights going, pushing forward, and I do love that he's still worried about the safety of the fighters. As far as fighting at Paramount or CBS with no audience, I think that's awesome because the fans can still watch these great fights at home. And on top of that, it kind of shows that Bellator is getting in with CBS, which I think is a great platform to get more views, hundreds of thousands of views, and get some more recognition for Bellator and our fighters. So I'm looking forward to that. Scott, let's line that up. Let's go to CBS or Paramount. Let's get this fight with Georgie that I have lined up. Let's get it going for July. Thanks, my man. Another great week for MMA. This is a huge week, and if this fight, UFC 249, everything goes through, keeping my fingers crossed, this is a huge opportunity for mixed martial arts because everything's shut down right now, and if MMA fighters can step out there, put it on the line safely, and everything goes okay, I think this is a huge step in the right direction of stuff getting opened back up, events coming back on, because I personally believe with other promotions, with UFC stepping forward and putting on fights, if everybody's safe and everything goes okay, I see that as a platform for Bellator and possibly other organizations to say, hey, let's kind of replicate that same protocol, no audience, let's make sure everybody's tested, everything's safe, and let's put on some fights for the fans. That's it for today, guys. Until next time.